I sat in the living room, running my fingers along the rim of my glass, watching Clara as she scrolled through her phone. She barely acknowledged me, letting out small chuckles at whatever she was reading. "Did Jason tell you the final details for the graduation?" I asked, trying to break the silence that had become our normal. She sighed, still looking at her screen. "Yeah, he mentioned it." Something about her tone felt off. Dismissive. Like she had no real interest in the event. "You don't seem excited," I pressed. Clara finally looked up, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Of course I am. It's a big day for him." Her words were right, but everything about her felt wrong. Her energy, her expression, her body language, it all screamed indifference. "Then why does it seem like you don't want to go?" She set her phone down, rubbing her temple. "You're making a big deal out of this. It's just a college graduation. We don't have to treat it like some royal ceremony." I studied her face. The woman I married used to find joy in every small victory, every reason to celebrate. No. She couldn't even pretend to care. Jason's voice rang out from the hallway. "Dad, seriously, don't stress. I already told Mom, if she can't make it, it's fine. You don't have to either." I turned toward him, narrowing my eyes. "What do you mean, if she can't make it?" "She never mentioned not going." Clara shifted uncomfortably. Jason scratched the back of his neck. "I just figured, work and all. If she's busy, there's no need to force it." "Force it? Since when did celebrating his achievements feel like an inconvenience?" I kept my tone steady. "I already booked our flights. We're going as a family." Clara sighed again. "You're taking this too far. It's just a college graduation." That sentence. The way she and Jason said it. As if they had already discussed it, planned this narrative before I even brought it up. Something inside me shifted. My gut twisted. I let the conversation drop, nodding along, pretending to accept their casual dismissal. But deep down I knew. Something was wrong. And I would find out exactly what it was. The flight home was agonizing. My hands clenched the armrests, thoughts racing with every possible scenario. That picture haunted me, Clara leaning into another man, his hand on her thigh like it belonged there. How long had this been going on? Had she been waiting for an excuse to keep me away so she could indulge in her secret life? And Jason, was he covering for her? His dismissive attitude, the way he downplayed our attendance. Had he known all along? The moment the plane landed, I didn't waste a second. I grabbed my bag and rushed through the terminal, ignoring the crowds, my heart pounding like a war drum. I hailed a cab, gave the driver my address, and sat in silence as the city blurred past. By the time I reached our house, the sun had just begun its descent. The sky burned with streaks of orange and purple, but all I saw was red. I stepped out of the cab, took a deep breath, and walked toward the door. I didn't even need to unlock it. It was already open. A chill ran down my spine. My heartbeat slammed against my ribs. Slowly, I pushed the door wider and stepped inside, careful, quiet. The living room was dim, the scent of wine lingering in the air. Shoes were discarded near the couch. One pair of heels I recognized as Clara's. The other, a pair of polished men's dress shoes. My stomach dropped. Muffled laughter drifted from the hallway. Soft giggles. Hers. A deep chuckle followed. His. Rage ignited inside me, but I forced myself to stay calm. Bursting in like a madman wouldn't get me the truth. I needed to see it. Needed to catch them in the act, burn the image into my mind so there would be no doubt, no room for her lies. I moved forward, each step careful, calculated. The bedroom door was slightly ajar, candlelight flickering inside. Shadows danced along the wall, two figures intertwined, bodies pressed together. Her voice, breathless. "You're bad. What if he comes home early?" His response, low and smug. "He's too busy playing perfect father. He won't suspect a thing." My blood boiled. My vision blurred. I had heard enough. With a steadying breath, I pushed the door open. The scene before me shattered every remaining illusion. Clara, draped in nothing but tangled sheets, Her body curled into the arms of a man I had never seen before. He was younger, lean, his bare chest glistening under the dim candlelight. Her fingers traced lazy patterns on his skin, her expression one of pure contentment. Then her eyes met mine, and everything froze. Time seemed to stretch as Clara's eyes locked onto mine. Shock twisted her features, followed by something else, panic. The man beside her noticed her sudden stillness, his smirk faltering as he turned to face me. For a brief moment, none of us moved. Then, Clara clutched the sheets tighter, scrambling upright. It's not what it looks like. I almost laughed. The sheer audacity of those words, spoken while she lay tangled in another man's embrace, was beyond absurd. Not what it looks like, I repeated, my voice eerily calm. So tell me, Clara, what exactly am I looking at? She opened her mouth, then closed it, searching for an excuse that didn't exist. The man, still half-naked, sat up and ran a hand through his hair, suddenly looking a lot less confident. Listen, man, he started, but I cut him off with a glare so sharp he swallowed his words. I turned back to Clara. How long? Her lips trembled. I don't know. You don't know. I scoffed. Is that because there have been so many nights that you've lost count? Or are you just struggling to decide which lie to tell me? Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing. No sadness, no regret, just a cold, hollow detachment. The love I once had for her, the trust one had spent years building, had been crushed beneath the weight of her betrayal. I didn't want you to find out like this, she whispered. That broke me. You didn't want me to find out? I repeated, stepping closer, fists clenched. So you were planning to keep lying, sneaking around behind my back while I played the fool? The man beside her, her lover, stood, finally finding his voice. Look, we didn't mean for this to happen. It just did. My jaw tightened. And who the hell are you? He hesitated. Daniel. Daniel. I rolled the name on my tongue like venom, memorizing it, engraving it into my mind. I looked back at Clara, my voice steady but sharp. And Jason. Does he know? A flicker of guilt passed across her face. My chest tightened. Oh my God. I let out a bitter laugh. He does, doesn't he? Clara buried her face in her hands. It wasn't his secret to tell. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. My own son, my flesh and blood, had known about this and said nothing. He had covered for her. I took a slow breath, trying to control the rage bubbling inside me. I gave you everything, Clara. A life, a home, my loyalty. And this is how you repay me. She sobbed, but I didn't care. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should all just... Shut the hell up, I snapped, turning on him. You don't get to speak. You don't get to justify any of this. He had the nerve to look offended, but I was beyond caring. I turned to Clara one last time, my voice devoid of warmth. I hope he was worth it. Then, without another word, I walked out, leaving behind the wreckage of a life I no longer recognized. The night air felt sharp against my skin as I stepped outside. I took a deep breath, filling my lungs with the crisp air, trying to ground myself in reality. My home, no, the place I had once called home, felt foreign now, tainted by betrayal. I didn't go back inside. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't need to. That house no longer belonged to me. It belonged to ghosts. Clara's lies, Jason's silence, Daniel's smug presence. It was all a graveyard of trust one refused to dwell in. Instead, I got into my car and drove. At first, I had no destination in mind. Just the open road, the hum of the engine, the city lights blurring past. But as the anger settled into something colder, something clearer, I realized exactly where I needed to go. I pulled into a familiar driveway, one I hadn't visited in years. My sister, Emily, opened the door, her expression shifting from surprise to concern in an instant. Tom. Her brows knitted together. It's late. What's wrong? I didn't answer right away. I just exhaled, shaking my head. I need a place to stay for a while. Understanding flickered in her eyes. Come in. That night, for the first time in months, maybe years, I slept soundly. No tension, No underlying anxiety about why Clara was so distant, no nagging doubts creeping in. Just peace. The following weeks brought change, but not the kind I feared. I met with a lawyer, set the divorce in motion, and cut Clara out of my life completely. She tried reaching out at first, apologies, excuses, even desperate pleas, but I was done listening. Jason called once, awkward and hesitant. I picked up, waiting for him to speak. "Dad, I didn't know how to tell you," he finally admitted. I closed my eyes, letting out a slow breath. "You didn't even try, Jason." Silence. Then, "I didn't want to hurt you." I swallowed the bitterness in my throat. "But you let me live a lie instead." More silence. Then a quiet, "I'm sorry." I didn't respond right away. A part of me wanted to lash out, to tell him that he had betrayed me as much as Clara had. But another part, the father in me, knew that anger wouldn't fix anything. "I hope one day you understand what you did," I said, voice steady. "And I hope you never find yourself in my position." That was the last time we spoke for months. But life didn't end with that betrayal. It evolved. I moved into my own place, a modest apartment overlooking the city. I rediscovered hobbies I had long abandoned, went out more, reconnected with old friends. And then, one evening, I met her. Sophia. She was nothing like Clara. Where Clara was cold and distant, Sophia was warm, vibrant. Where Clara once dismissed my thoughts, Sophia listened. It wasn't instant. I had walls, high ones, but she was patient, never pushing, never demanding. And one night, as we sat on my balcony, sipping wine under the stars, she looked at me and smiled. "You look happy," she said softly. I thought about it. About where I had been, what I had lost. Then, I looked at her and realized she was right. "I think I finally am."